program is brought to you in association with First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?
Social media has definitely evolved over the years, and this evolution has prompted many users across the world to be very deliberate with what they put up on their social media profiles. While this has been well and good in that it can be a good avenue for great conversation, useful insights, income generation and harmless banter for those looking for laughs, many have also fallen prey to the collapse of the not-so-good side of these well-intended platforms. Not surprising because the dynamics of employability keep changing every day, especially with social media content having such an influential presence on the interweb. While we already know that a social media presence that is plagued with profanity, content generally considered immoral, and all sorts of negativity can actually taint your employability, what of a presence that is not only thought-provoking but also in line with acceptable societal norms? Does it help at all in your attractiveness in your pursuit of employment opportunities? We have seen various professionals sharing their own thoughts on numerous blog sites and social media platforms on subject matters related to their work, and sometimes just thoughts on things happening around them, such as the fuel price hikes and utilities. Does this help with either their profiles at work or future employment prospects? Can varsity students start building this sort of presence on their platforms as well? Joining us tonight is human resources consultant Sirofalang Nagafela Bibiza. Her thoughts on various topical issues are discussed on her own Twitter profile, carefully branding her as the HR specialist she is. To this end, we find out from her if this kind of social media branding helps at all for those looking for employment.
I would say it is something that one needs to consider, because nowadays, especially because we had also COVID, there was the Industrial Revolution, then COVID happened. A lot of employers are using social media to do the recruiting processes. We have employing bodies that employers they use that would tell you there's a link on Facebook, follow the link so that you can be able to apply for that job. We have LinkedIn, which is specifically for that. It is specifically for jobs. It is specifically for job hunting. It is specifically for people connecting at a professional level. So we are there, and it is very important to have one. It is very important to have an active one so that you don't miss out on anything. It is important to make sure that even whatever you write, whatever you discuss, whatever you share would not harm where you are trying to go professionally.
Speaking of content, how much content and thought sharing is considered acceptable? We have to look at issues of when one posts, how much they post and what they post.
Depending on your kind of work, your line of work, you need to be careful how you post and when you post. I'll give you an example. If we know that I go into the office at 7:30 and then maybe I go to lunch at 12:30. I should be seen being more active on social media during lunchtime. I should be seen being more active on social media after work. If I'm active from 7:30 until 4:30, to a prospective employer, I'm saying I'm going to be slacking in your office. Because nowadays people, they would see you would send your profile, and some have the right to decide if they're going to visit your Facebook profile or not. They are the employers. They want to see if you would fit their company. They want to see if you are someone who's dependable. So they might decide to go. And imagine they see that every hour you are on social media.
But where do we draw the line in figuring out how to make our thoughts palatable for prospective employers? This is also to make sure that, you know, we're not robotic in our delivery, because, you know, outside of work, we're also people with social lives, with personal lives.
Despite being a professional as a person, you also have a social life. It is okay to share your social life, but you need to be aware of what your profession entails. What do they value? I'll give you an example. If you work as a police officer, we are not supposed to be seeing content whereby you are seen doing anything that works against the police force. Let's say we see you smoking marijuana on Facebook and you're a police officer. That is going to harm your profession. So live your life, do as you can do, but in mind, make sure that your emotional intelligence is at play, because you need to know what I can do that will harm who I am. Where am I trying to go professionally? And you need to know some of those things you don't say, some of the things you don't post. It is not that you are confined. It is about you being aware of where you want to go, you being aware of what your profession is. There are people whose professions allow them to say whatever they want to say on social media. But other professions, they don't allow you to do that. So you just need to be careful, know where you are going, and make sure that your emotional intelligence is at play.
So do you think that people are definitively aware of this sort of impact that the social media platforms can have on their employment or employability?
I think there was a point whereby a lot of people were so ignorant of that, they did not know. But nowadays, I would say it is growing on them. Now they're beginning to understand. Because this is why nowadays people will scrutinize your profession when they see you doing something that they deem is going against your profession. You will see a backlash. This is to show that nowadays we are aware. Maybe we are not totally there, but nowadays we are going there. We now understand this is why we can be we are now even the jury. On Facebook, you post something, we feel it goes against the profession, we would come for you, because we are aware nowadays. It's only that people are being careless, and others, they think it doesn't really have much of an impact, but it can have an impact on what you do and where you're going professionally.
Given your profession, I don't know if this would be a fair question to pose to you, but are you aware of, specific instances where somebody's utterances or what they put out on social media cost them an employment opportunity or actually their job, like they got fired?
I wouldn't say I am definite about people losing their jobs or anything, but I remember there was an incident, I think it was beginning of this year, whereby there was one man who was joking about defiling kids. There was an uproar on social media. They even found his employer. Went to his employer, they told him, you are harboring a criminal. We need to see you doing something about this. So it can have an impact. You can lose your job because of the things you write on social media. Because some of these employers, they are under pressure to please their clients. Some organizations, they represent certain values. And if they are seen to be associated with someone who does not represent values that are pushing the values of their organization, they might lose you. Because they would rather keep their customers than keep an employee who is not with them.
Lastly, Sorofalang, how much influence do you think social media will have on one's employability in future relative to the sort of influence it has today?
I would give you an example. When you apply for a job, you only write like beautiful things about yourself. On the CV, you tell us these beautiful things. We call you for an interview. You come dressed nicely. You make sure you look the part. You speak the part. But I foresee in the future people saying, "Okay, this person says he's one person who is like this. Let's go see if when they are relaxed and they know they are not being watched, this is true." They can literally do that. Depending on your profession, depending on your line of work, depending on who your employers are and how sensitive they are about you being a representative of their company out there. Because there are companies whereby you being an employee, it means you are the face of the company, whether you are at work or out there. Anything you do represents them. So some of them might start going there to check. Is he really the person he says he is? Or he was just here because he knew he was coming for the interview, so he acted accordingly. It might go there, but we don't know.